right, guys, we got one more episode with Polo and myself with Dental Chronicles. This time we got a special guesses. We got from Force Milling, we got Brandon, and we got Hardy. Am I saying it right? Hope I
You
got it
got it.
right.
You got it.
Thank you guys for joining us. And again, Polo, thank you for putting things together. I mean, like, man, you're in the. I can't see that by, man. You're not even working right now, dude. You're in the tropical. I got the palms going.
I'm about to straight get my bathing suit and start going in the back.
So
Forget about implants.
yeah, yeah. So the floor is your guys. Give us a little bit of insight about what force milling is, and a little bit of insight of where you guys started and where you guys heading to.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Artie.
Well, yeah, no, thank you for that. And thank you, first of all, for having us on here. It's a privilege and very excited to be here. So appreciate that. I wouldn't mind being in that tropical setting there. That'd be pretty nice right now. So but force milling is something that I envisioned uh quite a while ago, actually. It is we are a milling center that we have a focus point of custom abutments and really anything metal, and we do zirconia as well, but we really do have a focus on metal work. I feel like I've owned a dental lab for 29 years, and I owned a lab out in California for quite a while, and moved to North Carolina about 15 years ago. And um, I've worked over the years. I've worked with a lot of really good companies, implant companies, as well as manufacturers of other items, and a big thing with the dental lab industry that I've noticed over the years is there's a constant need to be faster, better, more affordable, and it's kind of a perfect storm when that all comes together. You as a lab owner, it gets to be kind of tough. So. I set out to have uh, a product that I could be really proud of, and really reach the labs out there. My goal is to really facilitate the relationship between the doctors, the clinicians, and the laboratory to make that actually a easier process for them, save them on time, and save a little money as well in the process, and put out a really consistent product that is predictable, and affordable, and really be able to help labs make money again. And so that's labs are near and dear to my heart. Being a lab owner, my dad's a dentist, so I've had a lot of the clinical base as well. And so when I set out to do this, um, I knew I was going to need help, and being able to reach out with to the labs that are out there. That's why I found Brandon. Actually, the way he has been tremendous. Brandon's been an invaluable help, and I'm super blessed and thankful for him, to be here with me, and to be building this with me. So, Brandon, I'll let you kind of tell them about you.
Yeah, sure. So, no, the one thing I love about force milling and being a part of it is how lab focused we are. I care about labs. Hardy's been a lab owner for so long, and back when I was with Zahn Henry Schein, I really cared about my customers, and you know, and being part of force milling, there's something that I can provide that is like an actual like real solution, to cut down turnaround times, cut down costs on a lot of implant parts. And that's, something of extreme value that I love giving, customers, especially in the mid-Atlantic area and nationwide. So happy to be a part of force milling. And, I'm so thankful for Hardy, and he's a very very genuine dude, and he's been doing this for a long time. Just an absolute wealth of knowledge, and he's been awesome to work with so far.
A little about you guys. So where is Force Milling located at?
Force Milling is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay, North Carolina. Okay, gotcha. And so again, I mean, touch bases. You come for the back, from the left side. I mean, you see the how everything has shifted. You know, high demand, prices are a huge concern, especially for like the lab owners out there. Uh, those that own big labs, those that own little labs. I think the little labs are the ones that kind of get hurt the more, and big labs are the ones that kind of make the you know a huge investments by buying in bulks, I would say, and then saving that. But obviously, if you got the mom and pops labs that are still battling out there, first it was battling with digital, right? Everyone didn't want to switch into the digital because digital was so consuming, and every lab owner out there were so old school. They didn't want to switch. They didn't want to invest in technology. Now, nowadays, you see everybody or every little lab has to be forced again to go into the digital aspect. Now we see a huge shift. Now we see in uh, labs, pop-up labs that are more of unique. They're kind of niche, going into like just digital veneers, or immediate low chair side working with other dental offices, DSOs and things like that. And then you see like the big labs or the bigger scale labs kind of suffering, kind of like flip the like the spectrum now. Now the little ones are like the one because they don't have a big overhead, they don't have all this stuff, but they still have to like be competitive. And now, I think with the market and things shifting, it was huge. It was huge. The third party came on board, and then all people were doing third party milling and all that stuff. But then it hit it goes like a up and down, right? It goes like a stock market to me. We see like everyone love the aspect of saving money by doing third party milling, but then we have the sales reps going out and say, hey, if you touch this with the third party part, now you completely waive off warranty. And then you have like other companies like True Abutment. I remember when them first came out, I worked with them for about 4 or 5 years ago, and they were really strong into like, don't worry about it. We'll replace if anything fails. We'll warranty wise, we'll back it up. We'll send you guys our implant if something happened. So they were manufacturing not only the third party pieces, they also were manufacturing their implant. Now, on you guys, are you guys seeing more of like? Are you guys also doing both, milling OEM parts and third party parts, or what is
Yeah.
Force Milling
Yep.
doing
So
to be more approachable to the high demand?
yeah, absolutely. So um, I saw a need really. I've seen it, and it's still there. The implant companies, there's a lot of really good implant companies, and a lot of them just can't keep up with the demand of what they're getting, and so their turnaround times are tough. When I was saying that as a lab owner, if there's a week to 10 days of turnaround time for a abutment, an OEM abutment, we've got, as a lab owner, man, we got 10 days of turnaround tops, of the
If
full
if
case. If,
if the graces of the dental
yeah,
labs,
yeah.
right?
I
If
mean, we're looking at the days of a 3 week turnaround time are long gone. So,
oh,
those days are history. So yeah, I really wanted to come up with an unusual business model and an unusual way of doing things. And so we are able to do a lot of OEM, um, companies and abutments here at Force Milling, and we do a lot of OEMs for whether it's Zimby or Straumann, Neodent, and Nobel and goodness, I'm drawing a blank on them. And so, but we also do third
Do you
party
guys
with
what
Evo
about
from
Keystone?
Street.
You guys do
Do
Keystone, Primum, and those are like the ones that are really like uh out there. Like they're still. I mean, the top three for me, in my opinion, will be Strowman, Nobel, Zimby, right?
Mhm.
And then everything slides from there. Then you got By Horizon, which they use Vulcan, Implant Direct, and things like that. But I think the main ones would be like Strowman. But again, like you were mentioning, Hardy, is how you guys be able to compete with the demand. Like you're
Yes.
saying, the turnaround time is huge because there's no. I mean,
Yep.
I my on my side working with this company here in Fort Worth, our all our next cases are being delivered the same day.
Yep.
That's how fast the doctors want them. So
They
you
want
check
them quick.
you so
Yeah.
your surgery is at like 7 in the morning. The patient is walking out with the teeth full arch, upper lower by like 3 o'clock.
All of that is yeah, all of that is taken care of before the appointment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's phenomenal. But yeah, we do if a lab sends us a designed case by noon, they'll have it the following day OEM parts.
Man,
So
you guys are fast. You guys are faster than Jimmy John's, huh?
so yeah, man. So but yeah, that's the that's really for us is an important thing. When I set out to do this is really to be able to meet that demand, meet the volume, and but to really put out a product that is as good as what they will get from the implant company. And as a lab owner, uh, I've seen also, when you mill for yourself, there are you're able to if there's like little discrepancies, there's little things, you're like, well, I can, we can make that work. We can work with that or work around it, or we'll just scan it and then in house, so we'll be able to account for the little discrepancies that are there. So whereas when you're milling as a milling center, you're kind of held to a different level of product that comes out. It has to be exactly what was sent to you, has to replicate that file that was sent. And it has to be every time. It can't be 9 times out of 10, 48 times out of 50. It's got to be every time. You've got to have a product that is really really good. And so as a milling center, it's a different animal, and that was something that I when I first opened, I just kind of opened as a soft opening and outsourced to myself and kind of learned what that process would look like. And so everything is a learning experience. We are definitely not perfect. We strive to be as good as possible and to give a product that is consistent. That's and I've got abutments and cases from to see and what's out there. I've worked with this industry for a long, long time. And so the products that we put out, I'm really confident in putting them up against anything that's out there. So,
Right. So I use following protocols with the milling because I think that's like 5K or
yep,
5 1K or something like
I
that.
think, yeah, yep,
You have to kind
absolutely.
of follow
Yep,
the
uh,
strategy of the milling based on the
uh,
blank that you're using, things like that.
100%. Yep. So when there is a product, an OEM product, we follow the manufacturer's PMP that is there for that, with the specific all the way from the scan to the finished product through the milling strategies all the way through. So that's something that's really important on our end, is to represent. Honestly, the way I look at it is if we have really good. Brandon's been a huge, tremendous help with this. Is we have a great relationship with the implant companies and like Zimby and Straumann and that are out there. I'm very, very thankful for them working with me and giving me the opportunity and to do this. And I feel like I represent when someone sends me an OEM product, I feel like I have to do something that is at or above the level that they're used to getting. And so that's the way we really strive to do this is represent those companies and do it well and the product, a consistent product where Straumann, my Straumann rep, Joe, if he's listening, he's a tremendous guy. I'm very, very, very thankful for him. And as well as our Zimby guys and Nobel guys, and they're all tremendous, and they work. They try to help us put a better product out, and they've been instrumental in this whole thing as well. And we do third parties as well, and we do a lot of Preet or of Elos, and Medentica. There's some really good companies that are out there with third parties. I feel like, that the third parties have come a long, long ways in their fit and the function of them. And, it's really for us, we want to meet the labs where they are. Not every lab, it's like you said, every lab has a little bit of a different need.
Yep.
And there's some small one-man labs that are out there that want a specific thing. And so we try to meet them there where they're at with that and help them. I know I've been there as a small in-house lab in the past, and you know, there's a lot of fear in that people are afraid of the technology, and they're afraid of AI. They're afraid of these things. And I would just encourage people, to really, really hit the ground running with the technology that's there. There's some really great workflows. There's some great things and some great uses of the technology that's there. And the implant products that are out, you can save yourself a lot of time. But I am more than happy to be a resource to anybody that has any questions regarding that. So I've run up against the walls all over the place, banged my head against the wall a little bit. So a lot of it is there's been a lot of trial and error because it's kind of just new territory and for me anyway. And so, but I'm always happy to help people out. So.
And to piggyback off your point with the implant companies, Hardy, you know, these companies who we love working with, they've really leaned in to our business model and what we got going
100%.
on our journey so far, and we're super thankful for that. And I'm just so happy that we can provide something of extreme value, meaning taking off turnaround time. And the cost of these parts. I mean, that was one of the things that I saw when I was with Henry Schein was the vulnerabilities within this industry. Is you need more. There's two big vulnerable spots in this industry. It's you need more technicians, and they're hard to find, and metalwork. Metalwork it's tough because you need to outsource all that kind of stuff, and you want to be able to reduce the amount of friction in that area of your practice. So that's what we're here to do.
Are you guys milling bars? Not yet.
Yes, we sure
Oh,
do.
you do? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Absolutely.
do you guys got like a workflow, especially for those that are like not in-house outputs, for those that are, when you're designing, for example, cases for Nobel, cases for Strowman,
Sure.
do you guys got like a how-to on your website on kind of tells you how do you receive the file in other ways, right? Because that's what people are gonna say. They're gonna watch they're gonna watch the podcast. They're gonna be like, oh man, I really want to use them, but how do I get, because it's locked in, it's closed, it's encrypted. How do you
Yep.
get that to you guys before? I mean, obviously, if you do it in house, you just drag and drop a STL file to you guys, and then up it goes. And then some of you guys will, I mean, some of the milling centers that we have encountered, we have dealt with, they ask for DCM files. Some of them say, hey, we like, just STF files, and then send us like the implant parameter files so we can kind of make sure depending on however they're milling it. How do
I
you guys
know.
approach that?
I know in 3Shape you can what is it, advance and then go into the explore order form, and not form, but you can explore the order. You can find the DCM file with the connection as well.
Well,
Seen
not
the
everyone is not everyone is like Steve Jobs Polo over here that knows, the whole thing. So we try to make it easy.
that's the easiest
People
thing,
like
man.
me, people like me, how am I gonna get that? I'm like, what? What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to send us a case, they can go to forcemilling.com. There's a submit case uh, button that's right on there. Our website is under construction. It is almost finished. Hopefully that'll be live here shortly. There's been a couple of little road bumps trying to work through with that, but the submission form is there, so it's just a simple process of following kind of a little breadcrumb trail of uploading a case. As far as doing bars or all on X's, we absolutely do that. They can either come pre-designed, or if they need us to design them, we can do that, work through that process with them. Our goal like I said before, is really to meet the lab where they're at. If they need us to do design work, we're more than happy to do that for them. And it depends on what it is. If it's, if it's a abutment, then we can typically do that in the same day and get that done pretty quickly. Bars sometimes will add a day or two with that, but as far as that goes, we're able to do all of that, and we have whether it's designed in Exocad or 3Shape or Real Guide, we do all three, so we're able to work with all three systems. And so if they have a design that we do for them, we'll submit that to them for approval. And once it's approved, we can move forward from there. So,
And
I know you guys.
we're also on
All right.
real quick. We're also on 3Shape Connect too, so they can
Mhm.
submit files through
Sure.
3Shape as well.
Oh,
But yeah, and also we love to do. I mean, the approach that we have with every customer is a personal approach. We want to make sure we hear all the details and everything that they would like us to do, whether that be, there's 20 different ways you can, for example, there's 20 different ways you can polish an abutment. How would you like it polished? Something like that, for example. So taking
Oh,
that
really?
that personal approach, especially as a family business, we're not owned by anybody. I mean, that gives us the opportunity to meet the needs of the customer first.
Gotcha. Now, so are you guys? Do you guys got any like requirements when, let's say, us designing, you guys milling? Do you guys got everything on? I know you mentioned it, Hardy, that the website is under construction.
mhm.
I just want to put it out there
Yeah.
for those that are gonna watch the videos to say, hey, I want to give them a try. I want to send them some work.
Absolutely.
I just, maybe we put on the bottom of the link somewhere here, like Hardy's email and Brandon's email.
Yeah. So honestly, kind of an onboarding phone call would be awesome, because if it's there's a there's a workflow that for us that is a little bit different than if you're sending it to Strawman or to Nobel.
Mhm.
So there's before you actually design a case, it's helpful, especially if we have that construction info or whatever with exocad or the the same thing based pretty much with 3Shape or Real Guide. And so if that's something you guys want to send, I'd love to have that in just a quick conversation, and we can walk you through. It's doesn't add extra work. It's just on the very, very beginning when you first fill out the prescription in 3Shape or in exocad. It's what you're clicking, and it makes the process much easier and smoother for them and for us both. And as far as it doesn't add time, or it's just different steps. A couple of about probably 2 or 3 different steps right on the onset at the beginning. And then we can work from STL files, but sometimes it adds a little bit of like when I say STL only files, it's sometimes adds a little bit of a wrinkle, and especially if you're dealing with OEMs, it's staying within that validated workflow is something that we can help them with right at the beginning. So.
Gotcha.
Always, I feel like you guys should always have an XML file from 3Shape and reconstruction file from Real Guide or exocad.
Yes.
It's better, so you can see the whole picture and not just
makes it way better. Well, I've been on both sides of that, and
I believe it.
It helps tremendously. It's seems like that's a weekly occurrence or a daily occurrence almost. So we're definitely working with people to. I think a lot of it's just educating, and there's a lot of people that are amazing at designs, and it's just a learning process on the submission and learning what they need to send. So
are you guys already defaulted on 3Shape? Is that what I'm understanding? Like when you set up the order, you have a specific setup RX for your 3Shape, for your exocad, or is that you guys would prefer the conversation to walk them through?
yeah, I would prefer them to just make a quick phone call, quick conversation, and we can walk them through it, kind of do a quick onboarding. I think that initial conversation can save them a lot of time and a little bit of frustration too, and make sure that first case is as good as it possibly can be. So.
And that call goes to Brandon after hours, right? From 7 and up.
Yeah, 12:30, 12:30 at night, 1 in the morning. Those all are funneled.
I'll give you a buzz at 2 in the morning then.
Hey, my phone's on. Give me a shout.
That's awesome. Well, I loved everything. I mean, I can't wait to myself as a lab owner to use you guys' services. Paulo was talking highly about you guys. I know there's a couple cases coming in your guys' way.
Appreciate it.
And then we're gonna have to do the midnight call with Brandon to set up everything.
Hey, very soon here. I'm gonna be up through the night. I'm having a baby in about 4 days. So
there you go.
Hey,
well, congrats, dude.
I'll be up at 2 or 3 a.m. Don't worry about it.
Done that. I know my wife be like, "Who you talking to? Brandon from Force Milling?" Well, so how are you, Brandon? Again, I know this is a quick one. I really thank you guys. We're definitely gonna do a follow up. If you guys want to shoot me, we got your emails. You guys got the email box. Shoot me an email back and see if you guys want to do some sort of like discount promo, whatever we can put in, like Force Milling, DK. Use this one so we can send you guys some more business. We got a lot of people that reached out to us most of the time. Again, you guys are killing it with the OEM because that's where everyone wants that. Every doctor that I have talked to, I work with the big DSOs, and they want the cheap price, but they want like the original parts. and they want it fast.
They
And
want it
I'm like,
yesterday.
I said, you can have your cake and eat it at the same time. You have to give somewhere, right? So, I love the fact that you guys are, growing and looking forward to share more. I mean, if you send me the details through email, I'll put it on, attach it to the video, and we'll air it out probably Friday after we have our editing and have them push them out. We'll share with you guys, all the info that and again, if we can get you guys more more business you guys as way, the better for us because I mean we keep growing and that's what we want. We want, like companies like you guys that are helping and you guys understand because you guys are on the back end, on the lab side, going through the motions. You know exactly what we, want, and then I think you guys can relate much easier to those that are demanding than the bigger companies out there that are just like million centers that they don't understand. They don't speak our lingo, right? They don't speak lab, you know. They just like, well, your cutout time is noon, and we're like, okay, well, this is a rush. I'm sorry, already milling. You don't see it until tomorrow. Give us a call tomorrow, and then you call them tomorrow and be like, oh, okay, well, Then they keep pushing the can down the road, and then they don't understand that for us being on the lab side, that means money. The doctor doesn't care
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that the cutoff time was at noon. The doctor thinks, look, I send you the file at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
on Monday. He thinks Monday still remain as a working day and that he should have received within the time that you're given. They don't know that he resets to the following day as a business day, and then we have to submit the case and things like that.
Right.
So we kind of like under the loop, being looked at the doctor. They don't understand our part that we still have to deal with other third parties that are out there to make this
Mhm.
work, in harmony.
So I do have a question. So you guys mill mostly metal, right? I would assume. Do you
Yeah.
guys mill anything else?
Yeah, we do Emax or lithium disilicate. We also do zirconia as well,
Okay.
PMMA. So yeah, I mean we offer a lot of different products. We focus into metalwork is kind of our main focus, but we do. I mean, again, we do a lot of times they'll send a split bar or split file case that they want the zirconia part as well.
Okay.
And so we'll process that as well. So, but yeah, so we do a fair amount of
You
other
guys,
business
you
as
guys
well.
center, please. You guys center everything and send it back, or do you guys finish it too? No.
Yeah, so we've primarily focused on doing, if we center it, usually it's going to have kind of like a pre-finish, and when we send it out, and usually the laboratories will, they'll do the finish work that is on
Mhm.
that, and so, but yeah, I mean we do a lot of lithium disilicate as well, and so we're able to offer a pretty quick turnaround with that, and so we try to be really competitive, and but our kind of what we've become known for is metal work, but we do all of it really. So
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a few couple startup labs we work with that are just trying to get their feet up, and get some business under them, and we help them do that
Mhm.
by offering what we can offer inside of our lab or milling center. And but yeah, whenever I go into labs, in the past few months, it's always I mean, most of the time it's the same story. It's like they're the biggest vulnerability is the metal work, and the turnaround times on that and the cost of them. So, when I go in and tell them that, our turnaround times, we can get you an abutment in a day. I mean, eyes are popping. I mean, they love hearing that, and they love hearing the cost of it. And that was really our mission, was like we can do better, and, this industry deserves better. And, what we want to do for people, and, to get rid of some of that friction and that tension, and that stress inside the lab to help them. So
Gotcha. I mean, what 1 day turnaround? That's crazy. I mean, I honestly, that's like
That's quick, yeah.
that's very quick.
That's fast.
I think, yeah, that's pretty fast. You guys are killing it if it is that fast. So we're definitely pre-center zirconia already ready for the labs to do that. So you guys will share with us like all the info so that we can put it on the video at the end.
Yep.
Emails too, and that way we can sell, like I said, pre-shaded zirconia, what shades there are, because I mean I mean the list is enormous, right? Like it just goes into a rabbit hole, like especially when you're doing like single crowns, when you're doing like the multi-layer, the low translucency, because for us labs, zirconia is currency, right? That's like our bread and butter. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
Yes,
you're
sir.
exactly right.
Yes,
so
sir.
and yep. All right. Well, Brandon, Hardy, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate
Yeah, thank
chatting
you.
with you guys. I know this won't be the first one. We'll probably follow up with another one. Send me the info, Paulo. Again, like always, was a pleasure. Thank you again for joining us today, and share some of that info via email, and I will put it attach it to the video somewhere around here. I'll have the editors put all nicely together, and I'll send it to you guys.
Thank you so much, and really is a privilege to be on here with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Hardy.
Yeah,
Paulo,
same here.
like
Thank
always,
you guys
buddy.
so much.
For the next one. Take care, guys. Be safe.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.